The summer air was heavy with warmth, the kind that settled on your skin and stayed there like a soft, invisible blanket. Claire adjusted the hem of her sundress, nervously pacing by the tall French windows that overlooked the quiet backyard. The golden hour sunlight spilled into the room, brushing everything with a dreamy hue, including the rising flush on her cheeks. She glanced at her phone again. No new messages, but she didn't expect one. They had made the plan days ago. She knew he was on his way. And yet, her heart was racing like she was about to jump from a cliff. It wasn't fear, exactly, it was anticipation. Excitement, maybe a little bit of uncertainty. Claire had known Jake for almost a year now. They had met through mutual friends at a 4th of July cookout. He had that laid-back confidence, the kind that didn't need to be loud to be noticed. He was tall, with soft hazel eyes and a calm voice that somehow always made her feel at ease, even when her thoughts were anything but. Their connection had started slowly, friendly texts, late-night calls, coffee dates that turned into hours-long conversations. But the tension between them had always been there, simmering just under the surface, waiting. Now, after months of teasing and stolen kisses, tonight was the night. She had chosen to let that tension finally melt into something more. A knock on the door jolted her from her thoughts. Claire opened the door and found Jake standing there, dressed simply in a soft grey t-shirt and jeans, holding a single white daisy in his hand. He smiled, and just like that, some of her nerves began to loosen. "For you," he said, offering the flower. She laughed gently, her fingers brushing his as she took it. "You always do the sweetest things." Jake stepped inside, closing the door behind him. The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was thick with meaning, filled with the things they hadn't said yet, but knew they both wanted. His eyes searched hers. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his voice low, steady, patient. Claire nodded, then spoke softly. "It's my first time. Be gentle." Jake stepped closer, his hand lifting to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear. "I promise. We don't have to rush. I want you to feel safe always." Her heart swelled at his words. She leaned into him, her forehead resting against his chest, breathing in the scent of his cologne fresh. Clean, something undeniably him. He wrapped his arms around her, holding her like he'd been waiting forever just to be this close. They moved together toward the couch, not rushing, simply letting the moment carry them. He cupped her face in his hands and kissed her, not deeply at first, just a soft press of lips. It was the kind of kiss that said "I care," not just "I want." Claire melted into it, her arms finding their way around his neck. His hands were gentle as they explored her back, learning the shape of her body over the fabric of her dress. Every touch felt electric, but it was never too much. He paused every time he sensed hesitation, his eyes always asking for permission before going further. Claire felt empowered, not pressured, like this moment was truly theirs, shared in mutual trust and desire. Time seemed to slow down. Jake led her to the bedroom, their kisses growing deeper but never losing that thread of tenderness. The sun had slipped below the horizon now, and the soft amber glow of her bedside lamp cast the room in a warm, intimate light. He helped her out of her dress with unhurried care, letting it fall in slow motion to the floor. She was shy at first, but Jake only looked at her like she was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. His hands traced her bare skin reverently, warming her from the outside in. She touched him too, finally running her hands under his shirt, feeling the strength of his chest, the steady beat of his heart. When they lay down together, every move was a conversation, quiet, wordless, but understood. Jake kept his promise. He was gentle, attentive, pausing to ask if she was okay, if she needed anything to slow down. Claire had never felt so seen, so wanted, not just for her body, but for her heart. The rhythm they found together was slow and soft, like waves lapping gently at the shore. There was heat, yes, but it was wrapped in something far deeper. Emotion, trust, care. Claire clung to him, letting the sensations wash over her in waves of warmth and pleasure she'd never known before. When it was over, they didn't speak for a while. They simply lay there, tangled in sheets and in each other. Jake kissed her forehead, brushing a hand along her bare shoulder. "You okay?" he whispered. Claire nodded, smiling as she curled into his side. "Better than okay." They lay like that for a long time, the silence around them filled with unspoken sweetness. For Claire, the moment wasn't just about physical intimacy. It was about feeling safe in someone's arms for the first time. About letting her walls fall and finding out that what waited on the other side was tenderness, not pain. Jake stroked her hair gently, and she tilted her face up to meet his gaze. "I'm glad it was you," she said. He smiled, his thumb brushing her cheek. "Me too." Outside, the crickets had started to sing, and the world carried on as if nothing monumental had just happened. But for Claire, everything had changed. She'd crossed into something new and experienced that could have been frightening, overwhelming, even disappointing. But with Jake, it had been none of those things. It had been beautiful. They talked for a while after that, voices low and close, about everything and nothing. Jake told her how long he'd been waiting for her to be ready, and how he'd never wanted to rush it. Claire told him how she'd been scared, but also curious how he made her feel, like she could finally let go of all her old fears. They fell asleep in each other's arms, the covers loosely wrapped around them, the room filled with the scent of the daisy he'd brought her. It rested in a small vase on the knitstand, petals wide open, soft and white, a quiet witness to a night that would forever live in Claire's memory. And in the stillness of that room, with their hearts beating in sync, Claire felt something she hadn't expected, not just desire, not even just love but peace. The kind that only comes when you know, without a doubt, that you are exactly where you're meant to be.